What's up, guys? We are back. We're gonna have probably a more sad video here. There's a British fighter, 18-year-old, killed on first mission in Ukraine by a drone blitz. So we're gonna watch this. I think it's important to cover this kind of stuff because, I talk about how Azov is a much better unit than a lot of units in the country. It's more structured, it's more professional, but the reality still is this war is so dangerous. And people are dying. Lots and lots of people are dying every single day, specifically foreigners, man. So I want to watch this just to kind of have a little reality check and, touch just a little bit of grounding here. But before we get into the sad shit, a couple of things. My name is Saxon. I go by Vegas here in Ukraine. I joined the International Legion for the defense of Ukraine in January of 2023. I'm still in Ukraine. I'm no longer with the Legion. I'm with Azov, specifically Azov's International Battalion. If you're interested in joining Azov or you want to, you just have, it's hard for me to say, right? Because we see a lot of foreigner casualties just like this. I don't know if that's the situation with this kid. I don't know his story yet, but we've seen a lot of foreigner casualties because of some incompetent units. So just hit us up here at Azov. I'm not going to post or put a bunch of Azov's insignias and shit on this video out of respect to this soldier. So let's watch this and kind of hear the story, what happened here.
A British teenager has died in a terrifying Russian drone hunt minutes into his first ever combat mission on the Ukraine front line. Foreign Legion volunteer James Wilton was just 18 when he died of appalling wounds after being chased by 3 of the killing machines. I've spoken to an American Foreign Forces soldier who was with the young Brit when he died. He told me how the drones herded panicking soldiers closer together in a bid to boost their kill count before zeroing in on tragic James. And the rookie recruit who had joined Ukraine's foreign force just 4 months earlier stood no chance. The American soldier called Jason, who we can't identify, spoke movingly yesterday as he told me how his British best friend died in his arms.
With my friend, at least, James, I had just known him for about four or so months. 4 months. Yeah. It was a very short relationship. Yeah. However, because he was so young, and because, he was at that age bracket, young adults, even that goes all the way to maybe mid-20s or something, where he thinks, I'm not doing much with my life, whatever, I want to help out, I want to do something bigger for myself or for the greater good. He was very on the nose about wanting at least his actions to be impactful. Yeah. So it really resonated with me thinking, well, here he is, he's 18, even though he's not fully developed yet, me, either being only 21, I felt like a sense of paternity, more like a little brother, I suppose. Yeah, right. A lot of us felt that way towards him because he was, he was very young, as I mentioned, but he was also very, very well versed in knowledge about tactics.
Just take a look at this situation they're in right now, right? They're in like this rehab. Oh shit, buddy, you can't be on the keyboard. They're in this rehab facility, right?
I have a job.
And you got everyone's missing a limb.
As tactics, gear, all that stuff.
His buddy right here is missing a leg. Dude in the orange is missing a leg.
Trained soldier?
Was he trained? No, he was not. He was just a civilian volunteer.
This guy in the black jumpsuit's missing a leg. This is the reality, you guys. I mean, don't get it twisted, please. This is one of the things that makes this conflict so brutal, man. is just the sheer amount of indirect fire, the Russians indiscriminately launching shit everywhere, stuff, you know, your general munitions that you hear of or you see in the battlefield, and then some crazy shit that you've probably never even heard or seen of. And the amount of just shit flying around at any given moment while you're on a mission. And what I mean by flying around is not even necessarily drones, but just shrapnel, pieces of tree. I talked to somebody who got he got shrapnel wounds from another person's teeth. Okay, let that sink in for a second. How disturbing is that? Somebody's he was exploded, right? This guy was exploded, and his teeth were flying fast enough to wound a soldier next to him by penetrating his skin as shrapnel. I mean, dude, it's so gnarly, right? So just, let's keep watching.
Like I was.
But he was
with
weapons and things?
Yeah, he was trained here in Ukraine.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, do you know what he did in civilian life, what his job was?
He did not have a job. He had just finished his studies. He had turned 18 in Ukraine. He came here 1 week before turning 18.
Wow.
So he already made up his mind about coming. When we were infilling into position, so this is 4 days prior to my own injury. Again, we were on the second trench, Peninsula Trench, all the way to the zero line, and we had to cross that open field, 150, 200 meters, just completely open field, no trees, buildings, nothing. It's a rural field of nothingness. There's no cover or anything. It was 6 of us, and I was team leader there, and we were traversing in groups of 2 at a time, 20 meters apart. The 4 went ahead of us, and then we were the last 2. And I told them, I specifically told James, you can choose if you want to go in front of me and I'm the last man, or you go behind me and you're the last man. I gave him the option, and he said, I'll go in front of you. So I was the last man.
Right.
So this was actually his very first mission.
Right.
Very first mission. And
so he died on his first mission?
Yeah. It's... This war is extremely serious. You can die, and I've known of people that have died here 2 months into this country.
So what happened? So you were... He was in front of you and you were at the back? Yeah,
I was telling him 20 meters. We got about 20 meters, and he was scared, obviously. I was scared too. Everyone is always scared. But I told him it's going to be okay. The days prior to this mission, his anxiety was going up and up and up. Yeah. And I kept telling him, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do this. You know, you already traveled all the way here. You did more than most people have done.
Yeah.
But he said, no, I want to go.
It's so true, man. It's absolutely true. You got to trust your gut. You know, shit happens in war. You never know if you're gonna die or get injured on your first mission, your 100th mission, or never get touched, right? But it's true. I've seen a lot of people come here and force themselves to do shit when their gut was telling them not to, and it just, for whatever reason, seems like those are the people who get wounded or killed, right? So it's so important to trust your gut. And if you don't know what I mean by that, it's time to do some self-reflecting, right? And figure out what trusting your gut really is.
Because you're going to go, and I want to be with you. And I said, okay. He was in front of me 20 meters.
Yeah.
We had crossed halfway to the open field. We weren't running or anything. We were marching normally. Yeah. We had a lot of weight on us. I'd estimate about 60 or so kilo each. Yeah. We had machine gun ammunition. We had I had at least 17 mags. He had, I know, about 15 mags. Yeah. And all the other supplies, water and things, because we were also refueling the trenches system with a bunch of food and whatever. We were about halfway through.
And that's a small kid, that 18-year-old. I mean, we saw pictures of him. So he's carrying 60 kilos. He barely looked like he was 60 kilos himself, man. He was carrying 60 kilos of gear on he said 150 to 200 meter open field. This is that shit I'm talking about, dude. You know, I really hesitate. I hate seeing shit like this because I hate to see foreigners fucked up by stupid command. Okay, but I don't want to go off on a tangent and take the focus off of this young hero soldier's video. Okay, so I'll shut up. But
and he stops. He just stops completely moving. Just freezes in the middle of the open field and completely moving. We were about halfway through, and he stops. He just stops completely moving. Just freezes in the middle of the open field, and he stopped. So I didn't judge his judgment. So I stopped myself.
Yeah.
And I yell out to him. I say, why are you stopping?
Yeah.
And he's not responding to me. He's just completely frozen, like not responding. And then I hear it instantly. I just hear zzz. I'm like, oh, that's why you're not moving. You're a drone. And I look around. I don't see anything for like a good 2 or 3 seconds, and then I see a light, and I think, oh, that's a drone. And I have been against drones before, and we're like quite literally in the worst possible situation we could be.
In a
completely open field, nowhere to run.
That knows where you are.
Knows exactly where we are. Prior to traveling, the reason why we were going on 2-on-2, we were told via comms, there is no more friendly drones active. Any drone you see is enemy.
Yeah.
So he freezes, and I tell him, I see a drone. We need to move.
Yeah.
And he's not responding to me. This is all transpiring in about 5 or 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I tell him, we need to move.
Yeah.
And the drone now hovers up above me about 20 or so meters.
Yeah.
It's above me, and I can tell it's a drop drone because it's choosing, it's just like zeroing on me. And I look at it, and I'm like, oh, it's about to drop something. But then it stops hovering over me, and it goes to hover over him, and then it kind of hovers in between us. And I'm thinking, he's choosing who to hit.
Who to kill.
He's choosing, he's trying to, because we're in the center, he's debating if we're going to run back to the second one or to the first trench line. So we have a crucial moment right here where he's choosing between either of us. And I tell him, I'm using his call sign, which was Volcano. I'm telling him, like, Volcano, there's a drone in front, there's a drone on top of us. He's choosing, we have to move. Mm-hmm. And then he reacts a little bit, and he goes on his knee. I tell him, and then another drone appears. Now there's 2 drones. So there's the choice of option is gone. I tell him I see another drone, and he's not.
Fucking palms are sweating. Jesus Christ.
Reacting. So I take the safety off of my Kalashnikov. I clock it like really loud. It's just loud in general. And I tell him, James, you better move because we're gonna die. And I tell him I'm gonna start shooting. And he reacts. He says, he gets up. He says, I'm gonna run. I tell him, okay. You start running, but if you feel it's too heavy, just drop your bag. And he doesn't hear that because this is not happening as I'm telling you. This is happening like 5-10 seconds, just fast. Decisions are coming fast. He starts sprinting, and I quickly start sprinting behind him. And there's 2 drones just hovering above us, just following us. Of course, the drones are way faster than us because we have all this weight on us. Yeah. And then there's 3 drones on top of us.
3.
Now there's 3. I can hear and see 3, and we're running, and because I was extremely physically able and fast and strong back then, I'm running way faster than he is. Yeah. So we're slowly 20 meters, 15 meters, 10 meters, just a point where we're about 5 meters apart. And there's a moment where I cognitively make the decision to make myself run slower, putting my own life at risk because I'm getting way too close to him. And I keep screaming at him, drop your bag, but he's just running, which I don't blame him. He's got scared, but he actually acted. So we're about 5 meters close. I think I'm way too close to him. I back away. So now we're about 7 or so meters away.
Is that because if you're together, the drone can get the 2 of you?
Yeah, it's easy. They want us to get together. Yeah. It's easier. They save munition and it's easy kill. So when I make the cognitive decision to back away, and I'm about 7 or 8 meters away from him, we're 30 meters away from the trench line. We're right there. We're like 5 seconds. And then I just see it like, zoop, FPV drone.
You flew into him?
Right into him. On his left side. It blew up on his left side, and he flew to the right. I remember I ran, and this whole time I was calling him by his call sign, Volcano. But when he got hit, I just yelled out, James.
Yeah.
He fell on the open field. I ran, and I screamed at him, "Are you okay? Do you need a tourniquet?" That's the first thing I said.
Yeah.
I passed by him, and as I passed by him, I just see him face down on the floor, and I just think, oh, f***. So I just ran right up to him. So now I'm on top of him, and I grab him. I told him, "It's okay. We're right there. I'm right here." I grab him, and then I look at his body. All of his left side is just charred. He's got wounds. He's got open wounds in his face, and his hand, and his chest, and his rib cage, and his thigh, and his leg. I look at him. I think, oh, he can't respond to me. He's choking. He can't say anything. He's compulsing. And I say, it's okay. We're right there. Look, I'm gonna drag you. And tomorrow you go home. It's fine. We're right there. Yeah. I grab him. I bend down to grab him. And as I'm bending down to grab him, here comes the other drone. And it's right 10 meters above my head. And I close my eyes, and I think, oh, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
And I think, that's okay. I'm right here with my brother. That's okay.
To it, yeah.
That's okay. I can die. I close my eyes. I'm just holding on to my friend. It's above my head for a good 5 or so seconds, just hovering. And then after 5 seconds, it just leaves. And I open my eyes, and I don't have time to think about it. I open my eyes and I say, okay, let's go. And I look down at my friend, and he's dead.
You knew he was dead at that point.
He was completely unresponsive. Just dead. No more breathing, anything. I drop him, and I say, I'm sorry, brother. I'm gonna come right back for you. And I run into position. And I couldn't get out because one of my squad mates, he looks at me and he says, what are you doing out there? There's too many drones. You shouldn't be out there. And then I just said, I'm gonna go back. He's like, you can't go back. 20 minutes pass, and we go back to retrieve my friend's corpse.
This fucking kid, man. You know, first mission or last mission, absolute fucking hero. Okay? It sounds, it almost sounds cliche to say, right? Because you hear this about anybody who dies in the line of duty, but it's the truth. And when you've got a kid like that who is just starting his life, he's just finishing school, and he's got his entire life ahead of him to do whatever he wants, follow any dream that he wants. And this kid says, I'm going to go to the most dangerous battlefield on planet Earth right now and go to the zero line. It doesn't get it, and protect a country that's not even his. It does not get any more heroic than that, in my opinion. And his buddy right here, forgot his name, whatever they were calling him. It didn't say how he lost his leg, but also very heroic. I mean, I'm grateful. As fucked up as it sounds, I'm grateful that kid went out as quick as he did. He took a direct drone hit like that. You know, at least it was quick. Fuck, man. Hearing that guy's retelling of that story is brutal. Holy shit, man. Well, nothing but respect to both of those heroes, man. Straight up. Like I said, I'm not gonna disrespect this kid's memory by saying all the things I want to say right now about the International Legion. And at the end of the day, you know, it could have just been bad luck. That happens. it's war and shit happens. Should the command be putting people with all that weight on them to cross that amount of terrain when they know it's being surveilled by enemy? You decide, okay? Like I said, I'm not gonna fucking go off even though I want to. Rest in peace, brother. Absolute fucking hero. Mr. Volcano, James. Good shit, man. And good on his buddy, man. That guy is an absolute fucking beast himself. It didn't even say how he lost his leg, but clearly he went out after that. So, all right. You guys, that was heavy, dude. Holy shit. That's one of the heaviest ones we've watched so far. That's it. We'll leave it at that. Rest in peace, brother. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video.